Hey there everybody, it's Rarity here from inkybutterfly.com. Thank you so much for joining me again today for another card making video. This one's our Inspire Create design team make. We're using the theme of the fall or autumn or whatever. So yeah, I love using leaves and using these sort of orangey colours for this time of year. All the rest of the time, not a fan of the oranges and yellows, but this is just magic. It's great. I love it when the leaves start to change. Not so sure about what you're getting all cold and wet and windy and everything, but the colours are just amazing. So in our mini catalogue, we've got this great background called Etched Autumn. So yes, had to go in the basket. Isn't it just amazing? And the leaves aren't super big. It's a really nice background set, and I'm going to team it up with Natural Botanicals. This one's carried over a couple of times now, and I love using this little leaf here. No dies with it, but it's nice and easy to fussy cut out. And I'm going to go to my Simply Said, which is a lovely sort of I'm going to say basic, but you know what I mean, it's kind of an essential sentiment set for all sorts of occasions. So that's what we're going to use today. So we're going to do a twofer as well, because that background is sized and shaped for American dimensions, so it doesn't always fit brilliantly on a UK sized card, but if you chop it down a bit, perfect. Okay, so we can make two cards with the one set of stamps. Okay, and we've used all sorts of colours on here. So I've just used what was on my blending brushes, and I just picked out the yellows and the reds and the oranges, and then just whacked it on. These I have actually embossed as well, but we're going to skip that today, but obviously you can, and it would look fabulous just in copper or gold embossing powder. Okay, so let's do a variation on this. The card bases I've used on these ones is basic beige, again just to sort of tone it all down again and not use the bright white. I'm going to use and it's layered with black to go with the stamping. We're going to use crumb cake card bases, and we're going to layer with early espresso. Okay, really dark brown, which means we're going to do our stamping early espresso as well, just to keep it all kind of matchy. I've already stamped out the leaves. Okay, but what we do need to do is stamp our background. Okay, so you can absolutely hand stamp the backgrounds. I like to put it flat on the desk and then put the paper on top, but if you've got a stamp platform, even better. Okay, I am going to stamp onto Very Vanilla. We're going to be applying loads of ink, and I've got Very Vanilla knocking around that I don't use very often. Oh, my nick's stuck. Ugh, let me get that off. Don't use very vanilla a lot, and I guess with it being a bit creamier, it's going to sort of help us get to the point where we want with our colour. Okay, so any stamp platform you've got. So I've still got my Stamparatas, which I love, that Stampin' Up used to carry. But there's loads of other options out there to use. They all do sort of the same thing, although this has got these lovely hinges on, which is really awesome, and without the frame around it, it means you can actually stamp onto larger pieces of cardstock. So I'm just going to use, this is a mini blackboard rubber, and it helps you apply pressure and it will slide across that platform. So, and you know what, if it doesn't come out perfect, I don't think it actually matters with this one, because it's kind of a sketchy kind of look to it. But that looks like it's stamped brilliantly. It's certainly good enough for what I want it for. Isn't that awesome? Okay, so we're not going to heat emboss this one, we're just going to leave the stamping as it is. Now, it is a really dark brown, and unless you look really closely, you could probably say that was black, but it does make a difference when you're up close and personal. So we'll pop that away and clean that off later. Make sure you get the ink off your stamps before you put them away. Obviously, while I'm filming, I want to just get on with creating with you guys. So we're going to use some ink now to get all this nicely ink blended. Let's use this. It's got all kinds of yellows and oranges all over it already. And I don't think it matters which way up it goes. Obviously, it's stamped that way, but I don't think it particularly matters, because the leaves are all in different orientations, so you can use it however you want. Okay, so what I generally do when I'm ink blending something, one of my brushes has just fallen out of my stand, so I just need to put it back. When I'm ink blending, is start with the lighter colour that I'm going to use. So like I say, it was all random colours on the original, so I'm actually going to tell you what I'm using this time. So this is Darling Duckling, so I'm going to try and use some of the in colours. And I'm actually going to go over most of this, but I'm not going to be too fussy about light and dark bits. I just want to get a bit of a base on there, here, there and everywhere, light dark bits, because leaves, when they start turning, don't just suddenly turn one bright colour. Although there is a fabulous tree near where I work that goes the most amazing, like bright, it's just like crazy pinky reddy colour. In fact, I'm gonna use strawberry slush as well. Well, that's kind of what it looks like. It's like crazy. This is peach pie, so we'll get a light orange brush, and again I'm just gonna swirl this into some places. I'm not going to take too much, you know, overthink this. Just pop it down. And I'm not even necessarily looking to cover all the white bits, because I want to put at least 2 more colours on there, if not more. But of course you can do what you want to do with this. Timid Tiger, dark orange. So I've got a light and a dark brush for most of my colours. Got an extra 1 or 2 for certain ones, so that's quite a deeper, darker colour. Occasion Crazy is another great option for autumn. It's one of the few times you see it come out from the woodwork, but it's a lovely colour. Great with copper. I think that would be a really great background. And if anyone's still got copper clay from our In Colours last year, Strawberry Slush, then this is a nice pinky red colour. That would be awesome too. Now, I don't want tons of this, but I just want to warm up some of these areas a little bit. And so there's still some pale bits and still some variation here and there. Okay, so there really isn't, you can't go wrong with this. Basically, you just do what you feel. And if you feel like you've lost a colour, so that the yellow's sort of disappeared a little bit in certain places, so I'm just going to go back to that Darling Duckling, and I'm just going to go over these little lighter spots and bring that back in. This corner's looking a little paler. So let's bring that in. Okay, so you can go to town on that, but that's going to need to dry. Okay, so I'm going to pop that to one side just for a moment. Cool. Just do what you want. Okay, you could bring in some brown, you could bring in a little bit of green, because you know the leaves don't all turn orange and yellow when that straight away. They might still have some green on them. So now I'm just going to use some residual ink on these brushes. Just pressing hard on the top of the brush, just to kind of claw out what I can from there. And it sort of helps to clean them off a little bit. I'm not worried if they're a bit on the paler side, because they'll pop out from the background a little bit more. Let's do that there, do that there. And again, not particularly aiming at anything in particular. That will do, that's fine. Okay, and then we just need to fussy cut these out. Okay, so sadly the stamping snips are no more, paper snips. So at the moment you can't get hold of these. So supplier no longer making them, so currently sourcing someone else to do that. But nice sharp scissors. So I save my snips especially for fussy cutting, so that they stay as sharp as possible. And if I want to cut any ribbon, I've got just a large pair of scissors, just like sort of kitchen style scissors, specifically for that. And then I've got another pair that I use that is for sticky stuff. These are just for fussy cutting. Very sharp, all the way to the point. So sharp they need somewhat a protective case. There we go, not too bad to fussy cut. Okay, and we'll do that times 2 because we're making 2 cards. So double duty today. I bet you could even make more. So if you can imagine, you could cut it into uneven 3s, because again it doesn't matter about the orientation. You could do that, cut it into quarters, cut it into strips, and make it go a lot further. And just the 2 cards. So loads of options. Feel sure that I'll be creating with this set again, probably applying some of the ideas I've just said just now. But I was kind of saving this background set because I really wanted to sort of get into the autumn season, use up some there's a lot of last chance products at the moment, and then obviously anything that's photopolymer, no sorry, not photopolymer, cling, red rubber will start to be phased out as well. Anything that's in the current catalogues will be fine, but other things won't be replenished. So yeah, there we go. So we've got our leaves and we've got our background, which we can now start to cut up. I don't need my die cut machine, do I? Okay, so let's pop that over there, and then I'm going to bring in the trimmer. So that stamp should be reasonably straight, and it looks like it is, but I'm going to line it up in the trimmer. Hopefully you can see. It's really hard because it's clear, this top thing, but there's a track for the blades to run up and down. Yeah, okay. So you can just see through that track. I'm guessing you could probably do this with any trimmer or guillotine or whatever. So just have it so that you can just about see the edge of your stamping through that cutting window. And we're going to just trim this down in the first instance, and then we're going to work out how we're going to cut it into two. Okay, so even these strips, you see, right, so that's got a bit of stamping on it, but they're pretty. So if you're super frugal, you can use some of those bits up as well. Okay, so that's not entirely straight, but it's it doesn't matter, we're just trimming it down, right? So just making sure I can see that there, and then because we've trimmed it, it's now going to be square, as in it's got 4 right angles, which means when we cut it in half, we're going to be there. So how wide is that? It's about, it's just over 5. It's like 5, just over 5.5. Right, what's half of 5.5? What is half 5.5? So half of 5 is 2.5 plus a quarter, so 2 3/4. That will do. One will be slightly bigger than the other, doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter because we're going to layer them up in exactly the same way and trim them down in exactly the same way, right, with the trimmer. So we're not going to measure it, we're going to totally eyeball it all. Okay, so we're going to need some stamping seal on that, or glue of your choice, whatever you prefer to work with. I like this because it's quick and easy. And we're going to bring in our early espresso, which of course coordinates with our, and this is going to seem balmy to do this, but I'm going to pop this at the other end because you know that this is going to be at right angles. And then that middle section is the middle section. It's either going to be a waist at one end or it's going to be a waist in the middle, so it doesn't really matter. You've got 2 straight edges already on that. Okay, I look like I got it roughly in half, actually, to be fair. So I'm going to bring back the trimmer and do exactly what we just did. We're going to pop this in, but instead of just being able to see it through the window, I want it to only just appear in that left hand margin, and that should give us our nice border. Is that, can you see that? Oh yeah, there you go. Do the same on this edge. Fab, perfect. It gives you a super skinny border. Okay, and you've got this great scrap that you can use for something else. So on this one, we're going to cut this side so that we get a nice wide scrap that we can use. That's the full width. Exactly the same method, just lining it up so that it just appears on that left hand cutting line, making sure it's butted up against the top. Another fabulous scrap that we can use, and then this one as well, which is you could use it as a mat or anything, right? So those are very usable bits and pieces for other projects. Okay, and if you really wanted to, you could probably put those on a gatefold, or you could, there's loads of things you can do with this, loads and loads, and it doesn't matter which way up or round this goes now. Just pick an orientation that you feel looks best. That looks cool to me. On the original, I've used this lovely black and gold twine. This is in a pack of 2 in a new online exclusive bundle called Ornamental, Modern Christmas, I think it's called. And what is this actually called? Black and white black and white and gold baker's twine. It's a pack of 2. You get the black and gold and you get the white and gold. So just for some contrast, I'm going to use the white one because I can. I'm going to take off 4 bits of tape. Okay, and we'll add some of that to the back of this and wrap it round. Doesn't need to be posh tape, any tape, doesn't matter, no one's going to see it. We're not adding any dimension or anything, just want to go around. I think 3 times is nice because it's 3 and it just makes it kind of pop on the card and you can actually see it and it's not skinny and it's going to be there. It needs to be there, right? These are my big scissors for ribbon and twine. So we'll pop that to one side for a sec and we'll do the same with this one. Not measuring it, just going for something about 2/3 of the way down. Okay. Go higher, lower, go in the middle if you want. You can, you know, all of this is stuff that you can make your own. I'm merely offering a serving suggestion. And you don't even have to use this twine, you could use a ribbon, you could use anything you like, linen thread, anything. Okay, right, now on the other ones I tied a little bit of a knot, but you can add that or not as the case may be. So there's our lovely panels, which we will be popping up because we've got that twine behind it. It's not going to want to sit flat here, it's going to bulge, so rather than have that, pop it up. Okay, so we'll pop some dimensionals on there, and then one near the middle, because it's long, we'll put 6 on. We won't go crazy though, enough to hold it. Beautiful. Okay, so we can get those off. Really easy to peel off these ones. One of the easiest ones I've ever had for getting the backs off. I don't know, must be just the right amount of tacky or whatever. But they're awesome. Okay, got 2 of those and our 2 crumb cake card bases that we're going to pop these onto. So we're just going to eyeball that, make sure your left and right margins look even and the top and bottom don't really matter, because you can say it was intentionally high or intentionally a little bit low. Higher is probably more pleasing to the eye than low, but it's your card and you can do what you need to do. About right. So now we've got our 2. Okay, I think they actually go together like, I think that's the pattern. That's how they ended up. So these guys will need a dimensional as well. So I'm just going to pop one just on the back of that large leaf. And we need sentiments. So I've still got this scrap of basic beige, which is kind of a nice contrast with the thing, and because we've got the white, whatchamacallit, twine. Where did my early espresso ink go? There it is. So again, using the same colour ink, just so that everything ties together. And we'll have a happy birthday. Beautiful. And we'll do a thank you. Comme ça. And who needs straight lines when we can just do wonky ones? we'll just snip these apart. With a wonky line, and no one's gonna notice if they're not exactly the same angle. And we'll need some dimensionals on the back of those as well. So 1/4 inch is kind of the optimal width for a paper strip if you want to put a large dimensional on the back. So we've got the mini dimensionals if you're doing something a little skinnier. Just popping them more towards the middle, but with a gap between them so that I've got plenty of options in terms of popping these down onto the card. So on the sample, my happy birthday was on the right, so let's put this one on the left. And we'll have it overhanging because it draws it all together. And hopefully it's something like, something like straight. There's the uprights of the letter, which I'm sure have a posh name. Those of you who work with graphics will know. Will help you line things up, even if the embellishments of that twine may not necessarily be straight. So use the lettering to make sure it is, and then we can pop on our leaves just to have just that extra little pop of summit. Okay, and there's enough room for those to, don't want the stalk to show, but let's have it overhanging that side, and let's have this one overhanging on this side. Okay, and that is our 2 cards with an alternative colourway there. You could add some extra embellishments and things if you wanted to, but I'm not sure it's needed really. Not sure it's needed. And then there's our basic beige versions. Okay, so there we go. Etched Autumn is fab, and you can make loads with it. Don't just think of it as a one trick. There's loads we can do. I'm sure there'll be more on the channel for you to have a look at with this set, so look forward to sharing those with you in the future. In the meantime, if you do want to just check out the description and go ahead and check out the Inspire Create Challenge, everyone will be using everyone in the design team will be using the theme of autumn or fall, and of course there's an opportunity for you to upload your own entry into that challenge. Just use the linky tool thingy. Okay, that's it from me today. Thanks so much for joining me. Stay safe, take care, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye.